We just left the spot that we've been sitting in for like 10 hours. We're finally off to check in. Just got on the ferry. Well, we're in the loading zone.
We're sharing the ship with these giant trucks and all the other ones down there.
So many stairs.
We don't really know where we're going. We're just figuring it out. We think this is the way to go. So here we are on the top of the ferry going from Moorea to Tahiti. And we always seem to get into these like really long travel days. So it's actually like 35 hours before our flight actually leaves back to the United States. But first we have to get from Moorea to Tahiti. And then from Tahiti, gotta get to the airport, back to LA, and then go to Phoenix after that. One last look at Moorea before we set sail to Tahiti. It's so gorgeous here. Apparently the restaurant is closed, and they only closed it just a couple days ago. But now that positive cases are rising here in French Polynesia, they decided they're not going to serve any more food. The Arameti ferry back to Tahiti is actually a couple dollars more expensive per person than the Taravu ferry. And we decided to take this one because it was more convenient for us, and also we wanted to experience something different to see if like there were drastic differences between one ferry or the other. And so right now I'm seeing that there's a lot more seating on this ferry than the one we took to Moorea, which is pretty interesting. So I guess they can get more people on here. And another thing, we really wanted to try the food here because the food was actually pretty inexpensive on the other ferry. But unfortunately the kitchen is closed today. It's just a ferry, it's only going like 45 minutes or so to the next island. So I'm not really gonna be that picky anyway, but it's nice.
So we are taking off for Tahiti. This one left right on time, whereas the other ferry that we took to Moorea actually was like 45 minutes late. So we weren't sure if this one was gonna leave on time or not, but it is right on time. And we're sitting inside because it was kind of rainy outside and super windy. So we're just relaxing in here. These waves are crazy. We are rocking so much.
Back in Tahiti.
Actually, I'm not happy about it because we left Moorea, and I think that's probably the most beautiful place I've ever been in my entire life. We just got to our airport hotel. We got a taxi from the ferry to here, and it wasn't too far, thankfully. You know you've been in the ocean for 2 weeks straight when you're brushing your hair and a piece of coral falls out.
So the first thing we have to do before we leave the hotel this morning is to take a self-test. So I'm about to go shove a stick all the way up my nose, and hopefully I test negative. Also, I hope Jenny tests negative too. That's probably pretty important.
We both tested negative, thank goodness, and so we are going to check out and then start walking to the airport.
Our flight doesn't leave for another, what, like 10 hours? So there's no Wi-Fi at the airport, so we're trying to figure that part out because we got some video stuff to work on. We were planning to sit at the hotel for at least a couple hours using the Wi-Fi to get some stuff done, but unfortunately they kicked us off the Wi-Fi as soon as we checked out, and so now we have about 10 hours to kill and nowhere to go but the airport. The airport doesn't have Wi-Fi like we said, so we have 10 hours and basically can't do anything. Very unhospitable at this airport hotel. not the best place to go, but also you're probably only going to be here one day if you're here at all on your trip to Tahiti. So not really a big thing to worry about, just something a problem with this one.
Goodbye, Tahiti Airport Hotel. So there's the hotel. We walked down this little path, crossed the street, and now there's another little path directly to the airport right there. So it's not very a hospitable place, but it is very convenient if you're leaving.
So we landed on this place to just kind of sit down and work on our laptops without Wi-Fi. I researched it and it said that maybe we can use like 15 minutes of free Wi-Fi and then we're gonna have to start paying for it. So we're trying to use our time wisely. So right now I'm just kind of walking around outside of the airport because we have about like 8 hours before our flight leaves. And so I'm just kind of hanging out, exploring, looking at the last remaining views we have of Tahiti. It's beautiful out there. I'm gonna miss it. We also found out that we have 30 minutes of Wi-Fi per device, and so we're kind of rationing that.
We're preparing for going back to the United States by getting some McDonald's.
So a lot of time has passed since we got to the airport. We've probably been here for like 7 hours now, and I just came outside because the sun was setting and I wanted to get one last look of the island of Tahiti that you can see kind of behind me right there. And I just can't believe that we spent like the entire day in the airport and our flight still doesn't leave for another like 4 hours. That hotel is where we stayed, right there, right there.
So we literally have not left this spot for 7 hours. Our butts are literally glued to the seats. We just left the spot that we've been sitting in for like 10 hours. And we're finally off to check in. So we got through security in like 2 minutes. They checked our passports, checked our tests to make sure we were negative. And then we just walked right through, and now we are in the gates, and it's pretty nice in here. It's pretty small. They do have a super cool feature that is an open patio out there with a bunch of trees, and looks like you can just hang out there, which is nice.
We were a little sad because we were looking around and couldn't find any outlets to charge all our stuff since we've been here for like 13 hours. But we found an upstairs place where we found a bunch of outlets, and so we've just been hanging out up there for like 2.5 hours. But now we are about to board our plane.
Woo! I think it's like a 8-hour flight to LA. So we're gonna hopefully sleep the whole flight. And we like this airport. It's small. They got a McDonald's, so that's always good.
Yeah, I mean, this airport was pretty nice. I mean, there isn't much to it, but it's a small place. Not very many people are coming here and going, so.
I like the outdoor patio that they have. I think that's super cute. Bye, Tahiti. We got a good meal here. It's looking super yummy.
And breakfast. We made it to Los Angeles, and now we have to walk like 15 minutes to a different terminal to catch our other flight. Apparently, there's just lines to nowhere here. This doesn't lead anywhere. It's one of the reasons why we don't like coming here. It's so busy. We're just happy we found somewhere to sit. There's probably like 100 people just standing around. Finally off to Phoenix.
We boarded a bus. So, I don't know.
We'll get to the plane at some point. Our in-flight snack to Phoenix. We're finally here.
Yay! So we are back home in Phoenix, and it does feel good to be home after traveling for a few weeks. We did discover that we really, really like Air Tahiti. It's one of our favorite airlines now.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really want to come home, but it does feel good to be home now that we are. And we have been planning our next travels, and now that we're home, we get to do a little more planning.
And you guys will know soon. So thank you for watching.
We have one more French Polynesia video coming out in a few days, and then after that, you'll just have to see what's next.